suppose everybody would understand the importance of a home in the current environment, the security of a roof over your head, but the sanctuary in these difficult times. Everybody needs a peace of mind to appreciate that their home is a place that will stay with them during this difficulty. And of course, the virus, as we know, is constantly evolving, and so the government is continuously adjusting its response in terms of the support that we can give to the community at large. And in this respect, we've assessed how the virus is presenting, the length of time that we know that people will need security and certainty in terms of their residences going forward, and we've made a number of decisions. So we've decided to announce that we're ensuring greater certainty and security for residential tenants and landlords by extending the eviction and rental moratorium until the 28th of March 2021. Now, we know that the pandemic has significantly disrupted the rental market, and we recognise that there's an ongoing need to support households who are experiencing rental distress. So we've seen more people facing housing and financial distress, with renters particularly hard hit due to the coronavirus and the convergence of factors including their age and their employment conditions. So as they're feeling greater uncertainty in terms of their material circumstances, the one thing they shouldn't have to feel is that their home is at risk, their place of sanctuary, their place of security in the current environment. So that need for certainty, I think, has been a clear message from a variety of stakeholders to the government, advocacy groups, and of course the general public. So we've listened and we've acted in respect of that. There are three principal elements to the announcement that I'm making today. Firstly, around rent relief and asset threshold tests, the eligible residential renters will now be able to apply for relief up to $3,000. So that's up from the previous announced amount of $2,000. We'll also change the eligibility criteria, which is really an assessment of their asset holdings. Previously, those asset holdings have been set at about $5,000. It's our intention to increase those asset holdings now to $10,000. So in practical terms, that ensures that families do have a capacity to amass some funds, albeit relatively modest. You'd appreciate it, the figure of $10,000, without seeing their access to that rent relief being in any way compromised. In August, we announced that we'd increase the rental hardship grant to $3,000 per eligible tenancy. As of the 2nd of September, what we've seen is about 9,600 grants, with worth more than about $23 million having already been approved. And of course, through these arrangements, we will increase the class of people who are eligible to make claims for these grants. We're also providing greater support and assistance through the provision of the Consumer Affairs Victoria and their good and diligent work assisting landlords and tenants negotiate arrangements that reflect the changed circumstances that the community is confronting in the current environment. It means that the current residential tenancies dispute resolution scheme will be extended until the 28th of March 2021, so both parties can work together in good faith to reach an agreement that both parties are happy with, and in the event that they need assistance, they can be assured that that assistance will be there to help them to come to a meeting of minds about what constitutes fair and recast arrangements in the current environment. So since the scheme began, CAV have received more than 93,000 contacts from Victorians seeking assistance with their rental arrangements. About 94% of those contacts have been able to be resolved essentially through the front door, essentially through the simple provision of advice and directing people into a negotiation process. Around about 32,000 of the arrangements, the agreements that have been struck, have been lodged for registration of agreements, which of course through the registration process opens up the proportionality access for landlords to be able to get their land tax relief as a consequence of these arrangements. And what we're seeing is about an average weekly rental decrease of about 24% through those registered arrangements. Finally, with regard to landlords, we recognise that this is a partnership and we have to help each other get through these difficult times. So landlords must be, from our perspective, be given access to appropriate relief, and that's why residential landlords who provide rent relief to tenants impacted by coronavirus in 2021 will be eligible for 2021 land tax relief, and that the existing relief for the 2021-2020 year will also be available to them once again, once it is recognised and registered agreements have been struck, and that there is a clear indication of proportionality, that appropriate relief has been given to tenants and that landlords should expect similar relief from the state in regard to their land tax obligations.